Hey everybody, Rachel here with AdvisorTV. I'm here with Dan Pinto and Dmitriy Rokhfeld, co-founders of Machinio. Guys, thanks so much for joining me.
Thanks for having us.
Totally. So tell me a little bit about the background of Machinio and how you guys got started with this, because it's a really unique idea.
Sure, yeah, that's a great question. So Machinio, we're a search engine for used machinery. So you can think of us as like the Kayak or Indeed.com of used ag equipment, construction equipment, machine tooling equipment. And really the goal is to solve what we call the information discovery problem. Buyers struggle finding equipment because it's located across thousands and thousands of different websites. And so we address that problem by aggregating all of that equipment. We started the company about 4 years ago, a little bit over 4 years ago. Dan actually came to me with this idea. He struggled with finding a used printing press online. A colleague of his asked him to help him find a piece of equipment online, and that's when he had his eureka moment. And he and I, we've grown up together. We started working on startups from our middle school years. That's when we learned a lot of the skills that we leveraged to growing Machinio. So he came to me, he said, this seems like a very exciting market. We can really disrupt it by leveraging a lot of the technology that we've seen work in other industries. So we started working on it, and it's been growing ever since.
So exciting. Yeah, I heard about you guys like 2 or 3 years ago, and you were just like 4 people.
Yeah.
How has Machinio been able to quickly adapt to new cultures? You guys do business in a ton of different markets. What is that like?
Sure, yeah. I mean, that was definitely kind of an interesting development for the company. We started focusing initially on the United States, and quickly we realized that there was a huge opportunity all over the world. Really, I think what's enabled us to be successful is because that information discovery problem, the idea that buyers struggle to find equipment, that exists all over. That's a problem faced by dealers and buyers in the United States. That's a problem faced by dealers and buyers in Europe, Asia. And I think that's why the solution that we've come up with has been so revolutionary, is because it solves the same pain point, which is an underlying pain point across all of these different industries. However, I think when we began entering these different industries, we had a lot of assumptions about doing business in Europe and doing business in Asia, and even hiring for sales reps and other employees across these different cultures. We assumed that it would resemble all of the success and all of the same types of the way that we do business in the United States. Over time, and I we'll give the credit to a lot of the early employees that we hired in each of these different cultures. They've really helped us understand a lot of the nuances about how to do business with different cultures. And a big part of that, from their perspective and what they've communicated to us, has just been talking to a lot of dealers and understanding how should you communicate to them, how should you pitch them, what are dealers in Europe looking for in terms of service offering, what are dealers in the United States looking for. And I think through all of those conversations and learnings, we've been able to kind of apply and adapt what's worked in the United States, in Europe, and also in Asia.
Yeah, so they've really taught you what you didn't know.
Yeah, I mean, from both Dan and myself's perspective, when we entered the used machinery industry, we don't come from the used machinery industry. So a lot of what we have had to learn has been on the job, both in terms of the nuances of these different industries, how to work in these different cultures. So all of the success we've had has come from learning, and a lot of that learning has come from the employees that are communicating with the clientele day in and day out. So a lot of the credit goes to them.
That's awesome. Where can people find Machinio?
Well, typically where buyers initially come across Machinio is by going to Google or some of the other major search engines. So similar to when Dan was trying to find a used printing press, he went to Machinio, he typed in what he was looking for. That's typically how buyers first find us. So they go to Google, they search for something very, very specific, so they already know what they want. Then they come to Machinio, we provide them the most comprehensive offering of that type of equipment. And then we connect that buyer, with the dealer. Over time, when we've been able to provide that buyer with a lot of value, they come back to us directly, and that's kind of how we've been able to grow over time.
Gotcha. So exciting. Well, thanks, you guys.
Thank you.